Household meeting, Morgan County Board of Commissioners, Warren, please rise for a moment of silent prayer and the pledge of allegiance. Most gracious God, who created the seasons which come and go, and who makes the fruits of the earth for the deeds of all, we offer our thanksgiving. We pray that we who have entered into the heritage of their heroism and sacrifices may so honor their memory that your blessings may continue to fall upon our beloved land. Protect us from the outward dangers and deliver us from the inward strife. Keep our country in your care and give blessings according to your will, so that you may be the glory and the praise and the thanksgiving from generation to generation. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
These proceedings are being recorded for the sole purpose of recording accurate written minutes. Recordings are overwritten following approval of the minutes, eliminating all unofficial records to be completed. Approval of the minutes of the previous meeting held November 9, 2023, and the special meeting of November 14, 2023.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lucas?
Yes.
Mr. Halverson?
Yes, were there any tests concerning county business this time?
Good morning. My name is Kayla Semmel. I'm the personifier here in Carbon County. I just wanted to take a few minutes this morning to talk about two outreach efforts that our office does this coming year. So both efforts are for the veterans and then our active military. So our first one is called Giving Back to Those Who Selflessly Gave for Us. Our mission with this one, this is our second annual year doing this. Our mission for this is to collect essential items for our local homeless vets, or just some of our local vets that might need a little extra assistance this time of year. We're asking that the community donate hats, gloves, scarves, deodorant, shampoos, toiletries, things like that, non-perishable foods. And you can drop them off at our office, or you can contact our office, and I would be glad to meet up with anybody that would like to donate items. We're also asking for socks, anything, blankets if you have them, newer blankets, things like that, that they could take with them and go. We're also asking for reusable bags to put those items in. And then what our office does is we fill those bags with everything that they may need, and then we actually give them to our Veterans Affairs office, who then gets them to those vets that are in need. You can either go to Christine's office, or you can actually go to the hub located at St. Luke's in Manhattan. And you can set up an appointment with her, and she can get you everything that you would need. The other thing that we do this time of year is our third annual Cards for Troops. We ask people from the community, other office holders, anybody that would like to participate. You basically just sign a card, Dear Warrior, sign your first name and the town that you're from, and then we take care of sending them overseas to our deployed troops. It's very important that if you are sending them in, you don't send them in a sealed envelope. If you want to drop them off, that's fine. If you're going to send them in a sealed envelope, placing them in another larger envelope, just because we can't send them sealed, we send them to somebody that kind of acts as like the middle person, screens them, and then sends them to the troops.
My apologies, Kayla. I should have had you come up front. Those who may be viewing it live did not see you. So if you want to repeat it. No. I didn't want to interrupt you, but after this, anytime we have a guest speaker, if I forget that.
Yes. And then real quick, we do have some deadlines for them. So we're asking if you're doing the cards that you get them to our office by December 1st. And if you're doing the items for the homeless vets, that you get them to our office by December 15th.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Any other guests? Hearing none, we'll move on.
Report of executive session. Next item, the proposed 2024 budget. Capital Project Fund. Motion to present for public inspection the proposed 2024 Capital Projects Fund budget of estimated expenditures totaling $4,452,584, and make the budget available for public inspection in the office of the County Commissioners, Carbon County Administration Building, Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania, between the hours of 8:30 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. until December 13th, 2023. Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
No.
Mr. Notstein?
I will, yeah, yeah. Another one budget transfer comes out of the parking fund. And I don't know if that's the reason why, but, I think we have to move along with the budget cycle. And the reason I don't work, we have to keep moving, but I will caution everyone here, or warn everyone here that this could, in the future, this transfer could be rejected by this board for the future, for the commission, to transfer that funds into the, capital projects.
Next item?
I'll see. Okay.
Okay. Department reports, the budget transfer. Second. Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Supplemental appropriation.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Expenditures approval check numbers 239633 to 240038 for expenditures to the general fund payment account for $970,270.77.
Yes.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
The treasurer's report. Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Treasurer Zinka, would you like to give an update?
Sure, thank you. Good morning. Dog law modernization bill update. Governor Josh Shapiro signed a bipartisan bill to protect Pennsylvania dogs, consumers, and communities. This will improve public safety, conditions for dogs in breeding kennels, daycares, shelters, and more. Included in this legislation are increases to the price of dog licenses. The first change to the dog license prices takes effect at the start of the 2024 selling season, which begins on December 1st, 2023. The prices for annual licenses will be for the yearly regular dog license for male-female dogs will be $8.70. For spayed neutered male-female dogs will be $6.70. Persons with a disability or senior citizens, male-female dogs will be $6.70. Persons with a disability or senior citizens with a spayed neutered dog will be $4.70. All these are an increase of 20 cents. These prices are valid only from December 1st, 2023 through January 31st, 2024. The second change to the annual dog license prices begins February 1st, 2024. These changes will eliminate the spayed-neutered fee reduction. The prices for annual male-female dogs will be $8.70, and persons with disability or senior citizens, male-female dogs will be $6.70. The next changes are for lifetime license prices, which takes effect at the start of the 2024 selling season, which begins on December 1st, 2023. The prices for lifetime licenses will be male-female dogs, $51.70. Spayed-neutered male-female dogs, $31.70. Persons with disability or senior citizens, male-female dogs will be $31.70. Persons with a disability or senior citizen, spayed or neutered dogs will be $21.70. Again, these are an increase of 20 cents. These prices are only valid from December 1st, 2023 through January 31st, 2024. The last changes to lifetime dog license prices begins on February 1st, 2024. This change will eliminate the spayed-neutered fee reduction. The prices for lifetime licenses for male-female dogs will be $52.70, and persons with disability or senior citizens, male, female dogs, $36.70. Again, there is no spayed or neutered option. I also have a press release for the members of the media that I can hand out at the end of the meeting. That's all I have. Thank you.
Quick question. With the fee increases, how much do we receive in revenue from the sale of the licenses? Will that increase?
$1.70 for the lifetime.
So don't we have to, just pushing that over to, how much is turned over to the state?
Yeah.
What do we retain?
Yeah, dollar is over to the state and we retain 70 cents, I think it is. I'll double check on that.
Thank you.
Next item is the personnel report for county department. Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
The acknowledgement for court and row officers.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein? Correspondence was received as listed. Copies will be made available to the press comment time. Boards and authorities, drug and alcohol, appointment to the 3-year term, September 1, 2023 through November 30th, 2026. David Gibson of New Hampshire, Pennsylvania. Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Children and youth, for approval and execution of fiscal year 2023, 2024 purchase of service agreement submitted for Adelphia Village Incorporated of Yorkboro, Pennsylvania, and for the attached rates.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Emergency management, for approval and execution, the 2024 training membership program contract with Bucks County Community College, selecting the bronze membership program at a cost of $1,300, funded by the 2023-2024 Hazardous Materials Response Fund grant through the HAZMAT program. This represents no increase.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
The Worker Protection and Investment Certification for approval and execution. Executive Order 2021-6, Worker Protection and Investment Certification Form, as required for the state fiscal year 2023-2024 Hazardous Materials Response Fund budget for the grant performance period of July 1, 2023 through June 30th, 2024. The application was approved April 27, 2023. Agenda item 23-196. Estimated revenue $7,310.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
The solicitor's report?
Thank you. We've received a favor request from, the Layton Downtown Initiative for the Hometown Vintage Christmas on December 9th, 2023. The banner will be displayed November 25th, 2023, and December 12th, 2023.
Move to approve the next. Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Similar black thing on the bench. Yes. Also for approval and execution of a banner request from Whiskers and Wags in Jimthorpe, Pennsylvania, for the Whiskers and Wags Donation Fundraiser for the Carbon County Animal Shelter and Carbon County Friends of Animals. The banner will be displayed November 24th, 2023 through December 24th, 2023.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes. And lastly, seeking a motion to adopt resolution 37 of 2023, ratification, resolution acknowledging the 100th birthday of Catherine M. Chickley of Summit Hill, Pennsylvania.
Motion is done. Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes. Nothing further.
Any further business?
Yeah, it's just under further business and budget is had previous to go. with no tax increase, and again, point out the increase in costs of county that we approved today, with the development, billing for children and youth alone. The increases, there were 23 different contracts, there was only one with no increase. There were several that were, with, less than $10, and some of those were per hour, some are per year. But all these per year or per evaluations, with, let me point out this one here in the diagnostic, evaluation, is an increase of $122. The total cost is $23.24. Contract is $3,177. There are numerous other ones that are over 50, between 54, 60, and $90, in some sense, about 10 of those that are increasing by over that amount. So for each one of these cases, it's a, it's a huge increase. Now, I don't have the numbers, how many times these different facilities or services we're gonna use by our children and youth. But we just won't keep spending down our fund balance, which is, again, getting dangerously low. That's why I opposed to transfer the fund out of the parking fund, and one of the few funds that we have had much left at the end of the year. And I think we just asked, on the Q4 work, how they plan on, addressing that issue for next year. How are you gonna make up those funds that we're losing in the budget, the deficit? You're looking at another $652,000 for salaries alone, and all the other issues that we have been passing over the months for increased fees. So I'm gonna have the question again, and I asked before, what would you do for next year's budget? How do you plan to make that happen? Is my question.
I can comment on that. One of the things, even like with this, what we transferred over, I think we had a discussion about it, and I didn't even want to put the 4.5 million. Because I think that gives us a cushion to have change orders and spend more money on change orders. And we have to start curbing this spending that we do and give it to the employees. I mean, the more money that we put in here, the more can go to the change orders, and I think the less money that we have in there, we're gonna make rational decisions on doing that. And we've been working on raises for people for how many years and haven't really given them nothing decent. Now we're starting to have something that we can. So now we have a contingency for raises, that's in there. And I think we all know the amount, what we get to. There's contracts coming up that we have to negotiate, but I feel that we can give people a pretty decent raise. And that in that capital fund has nothing to do with what we're giving the people in the raise. That's on projects that we have. And every time, and I understand this from the parking, and I think the parking fund, I okayed this because I think we have to have the budget moving on. But this next session where the three commissioners are gonna be together, we are start clamping down this month and giving it for our employees. And I'm tired of the excuses that we don't have money for them and all this other stuff, but we keep giving in contingency away to companies. And we don't take care of our own people, and that's where I wanted at this. This is where the crossroad is, where we're gonna stop spending money. If we take even out of that money, and I know Chris, out of that budget and he doesn't want that out of there, and I understand that too, because it would get wasted. My thing with the parking fund, if it comes down to a certain amount of money, or what we have up, if we have $1 million in it, then that's there, and I propose there's grants out there that could get through the state, that we might only have to pay maybe 20% of a bonus for people at the end of the year between Thanksgiving and Christmas. Wouldn't it be nice to give everybody a $500 bonus between Christmas and New Year? And all we have to do is pay 20% of it. We gotta start using our money right here, instead of just raising taxes all the time and putting it in the bank, and then it's in there for 5 years or 4 years, and you use it for whatever you want. And it continues that the salaries of the people are not being addressed. When were the salaries ever addressed to the people like it is now? There's people in these departments that were getting $1.16 through the studies, getting $3 an hour. 80 cents an hour where they would only got 38 cents. Now's the time to start curbing it, and I'm not raising taxes to put it in the bank. I don't want your money, the taxpayers, until I need it. And that's a crime that will leave, it's gonna be in our bank account and not yours when you need it. Everybody comes out here and they say, well, the food costs too much, this costs too much. Why are we taking, if it's whatever's proposed, a lot of times it's 40-some%. Why are we taking 40% of the people's money when we need it? We don't need it now. We might need it in 4 years from now. You know, everybody always talks about, let's raise taxes a little bit, but here we wanna present it and we wanna have a big chunk of money this coming year that's gonna last us for 4 years. I can't see that. Why do you do that? Why do you take money from the taxpayers for 4 years from now? And we gotta address every year what's happening. And you're not gonna curb the taxes if you sit here and just raise it. That's what's happening in Carbon County for years. You raise the taxes every 4 years and then you do whatever you want with it. Put it in what you need, and then it's gonna curb this spending. It's gonna curb the spending. We're not gonna overspend. And we're entering into a project over here that we have some issues already with. And I'm not gonna put more money into it to give to somebody else. I value our employees too much that they should have the salary. You know, I sit here and in fact, we're talking about healthcare. I'm the one. I'm not putting anybody's healthcare up, their healthcare. For what we pay them, that should not even be in the discussion. But we sit here and just say, okay, what are we gonna raise the taxes? So my question is, I know what I wanna do this coming year. What do you wanna do this coming year, Mr. Notstein, with an additional $2 million? Because there is money in there for their salaries.
I wanna see a balanced budget. We have not had that. The fund balance has been spent down. We're at the danger zone where you're gonna have to do something next year, or you're not gonna meet your expenses. That's the issue here. It has nothing to do with the capital fund. That money has been committed with, and all you did was roll that expenditure from this year to next year. That doesn't change. We have signed contracts. We're just playing the numbers game here.
And it goes back to it again.
Excuse me,
Keep
I am
going.
talking right now.
Keep going.
It's not a balanced budget. You are spending way over what your revenues are, and you're taking the fund balances down to nothing. That's the problem, and that's gonna happen definitely next year. You're not gonna have that $4 or $5 million to spend to pay those salaries because you don't wanna do anything. I agree with that, but unless you do something, you're not gonna have the money to pay these people. That's the problem.
And I could bring it up about the salaries. We probably have 40 on the complement, 40 jobs on the complements that have not been filled since I've been here. Why is that not money? That to me is padding the budget. And I mean, you have to have a little bit of a cushion for each department, but 40, you imagine how much money that we could get, even if it's 25 cents to each employee or 50 cents to each employee. That's where we're gonna claw back to give these people the salaries that they need. And that's what I'm going at. We have to start looking at this budget, not just say, okay, we're gonna raise taxes. That's not a good enough reason. We have to look at every one of these budgets. And instead, if each one of them is in there, we talk about, oh, healthcare costs this much, the salaries cost this much. Take 40 times, say even $50,000 a year, add it up, see how much money's in there. And we could probably only keep a quarter of that, half of that, and give that to the employees. I think it's time we start looking actually at the budget and what we need and not what we want.
That funding, that is in there for those vacant positions rolls over, to be budgeted and not used. Now, you telling me, our children and you don't need more caseworkers?
You're bringing up another issue again, children and youth, we
You're
pay.
picking up the,
No,
you're picking
okay,
up the
let-
salaries and personnel.
Okay, let me educate everybody on how children and youth work. Carbon County pays 20% of their salaries. We could actually give children and youth more money than we are, and that was never done over the years. And you know what I said, when Chris and I came in, the salaries were really low. And look at what the salaries, even the minimum is up to now. And he always brings it up about children and youth. We're trying to get people in there, and within their budget, that comes from the state. I mean, it shows that it's in there for us, but we pay 20% of it. So, on every 20 cents, we can actually give them more money than all the other employees, because we're only paying, and that's the thing about it. Why doesn't the state give us 20% on everybody's salaries? No, it's like that with aging, just like with aging. The other, I think last week, we had a thing where we had to take loan aging. I think it was, I don't know what it was, Jeff, was it $118,000? Because the state did not send us our money.
160.
Yeah, so, like, well, that's what we deal with. You know, we're raising taxes here, and the ones that give us our money, we're covering for them. Why is everybody always coming after the local official? When they don't give us our money, that affects the taxpayer. But we're the ones that are crucified for that all along. And you know what? I think now we have to start, and even like you were talking about this 911 tax. They're against the 911 tax, which is one of those things where it's coming out of everybody that uses a phone. Like everybody goes, well, why do I have to pay this? Why do the renters not have to pay, you know, a certain tax? But right here's a tax that they don't want to pass or up it, and the people that are only use a phone are taxed on that. If you don't have a phone, you don't get taxed. Right, there's a very simple thing. If you want the phone, then, and that's gonna hurt the town on 911. And that's their discussion at the state. They wanna keep it at the same rate and not raise it. And then it gets thrown back to us again. I think it's time that we start looking at the budget and say, you know what? We can't do it because you know what? We're not getting our money from the state. So we have to have a capital, or we have to have a fund bank for things that we don't get from the state. We have to dip into that for that all the time. Why is that? When I think if you go out and you make a car payment, if you miss your car payment, isn't the bank gonna come after you? So who's gonna go after the state when we don't get our money? Nobody. They should take a little bit more responsibility for what they're doing, and then it would be easy for the taxpayers on their dollars that they're giving. But there's all different avenues. We have so many budgets that dip into that are to work on, that we have to work on, and just don't blame it on one like children and youth. And children and youth has gone light years since I've been in. They have a new building that hasn't really cost them much any money. They have space, and I think last week, I think we on the edge of, I think, of hiring 3 people. And again, I wanted to get out of this civil service thing, which we could, that we could hire people. You take a civil service test, and it doesn't have anything to do with the job that you're doing, and you flunk, we can't hire you. All that stuff that's going through here, we still do paper and pencil with our payroll. Like, we're light years behind here. We could do things that save the taxpayers money. And right now, and I'm hoping, I mean, Mike's here, and I hope, Mike, you hear me. We gotta start clamping down on this. And I mean, I wanna work with you as much as you can, and even with Wayne. We have to start taking a little bit of grip on the taxpayers' money, because pretty soon they're gonna run out of money, and then we're gonna chase them out of town. You know, there's a lot of these programs that I see that are on, behind wants to do the LERTA program. Okay, who's gonna pay for it? You're gonna give money back to big businesses, and who's gonna cover that money that they need? Not them, it's gonna go back to the regular taxpayers. So I think we have to be a little bit more involved in the entire county on the tax system, how this is going. Because they're pushing, some of these are pushing for the LERTA program, they wanna do all this other stuff. And it's like, right here is where we can stop it. We're the highest official in the county, you know, not our legislators, not our senators. Right here are the highest officials in the county, these 3 seats. And I think it's time that we start looking at the budget, and I don't deny anybody. If somebody comes in here, I mean, even like with Kale, I didn't know if you knew it, but your retrievers are here. Okay, we're taking care of that. We're doing things like that. We're trying to help every department out. And we don't have to do it with raising taxes like it is all the time. It's too much. And I go back to it again. Why is Carbon County on a cycle that we raise taxes every 4 years and just use it for what we want? And like I said, I go back to it again. Our employees are very important to us. And if we don't have their services, then our public people are gonna suffer from it. And I think things are going pretty good now. I think children and youth, you know, we're doing this project to try to get people a little bit more space. And, I think it's moving forward and I don't think is raising taxes is the answer. It's not. It's curbing the spending and give the opposites what they need. That's the bottom line.
It had not been for the boards raising the taxes, you would not have the funds to spend as you did the last 4 years, and you would be in that situation now. That was my mistake for taking the heat and raising the taxes to provide those services. And you spend down that fund balance, when we would have had the funds to do a lot of these projects.
And I
It's
go,
gone.
and I go back to it again, the children and youth. Nobody ever put in for things like the construction or anything like, I don't think a lot like that before. And I told Jill, even like with the aging, in the aging, there was a van, there was transportation. Nobody ever told them that they could buy the van. Today they have the van. And it didn't raise taxes for people. Children and youth put in for, I think we spent $3.1 million on the building down there, and we're gonna almost get 3 million, like 2.7 or whatever back. That she put in the budget and the state approved it for us to get it. There's ways to get other money here instead of dipping into the taxpayers' bank account. A lot of different ways.
Name it, I'm on now.
Yes.
Commissioners report, Mr. Honor.
I do have, one good thing that we're working on is opiate campaign. Yesterday we had a meeting about it, and we sort of picked down, it's not quite there yet, but, we're narrowing it down to, like what billboards are gonna do, and what our, what our saying is gonna be, but, somewhere hopefully right after Thanksgiving, the billboards, throughout, actually, Alderman Monroe and I should be, people should be starting to see for our opiate campaign. And that's all I have.
Mr. Sutton? You have something? Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, I'm not paying attention.
I have nothing.
Nothing?
Neither do I. Okay. With me, any questions, is where are we going for a retirement? Hearing none. This time I'll call the monthly meeting and the retirement board to order. I'll turn it over to happy, happy.
Whatever. There are you, how are you?
I'm
Okay,
here.
A little bit. Start with the approval of the minutes of the previous meeting held October 19th, 2023. Mr. Zelenka,
Yes.
Mr. Binder, I'll abstain because I wasn't at the meeting. Mr. Arner.
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich.
Yes.
Mr. Nostine.
Yes.
Are there any guests concerning retirement board business? Hearing none. Report of executive session. There were no executive sessions. Ratify the warrant, checks number 40993 through 41002. Direct deposits number 7024013 to 7024428. That's for the month of October.
Second.
Mr. Zelenka,
Yes.
Mr. Binder, yes. Mr. Arner.
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich.
Yes.
Mr. Nostine.
Yes.
Retirement activity report. There were 6 retirement refunds. There were 2 superannuation retirements. One was a person that was vested. The other one was Christine Heinzelman, who had 41 years of service. So that's very commendable. The disbursements for October were $490,449.04. Both $490,449.04. Portfolio value as of October 31st was $79,472,807.29. I'd like to see a 7 in the front of there, which is so it actually bumped up a little bit in November. So as of November 10th, it went up to $82,074,418, so bumped up a little bit. Correspondence, there were none. Solicitors report,
No report.
no report. Investment manager, I think we have you under, old business there, so we'll hold on a second. New business. So old business, we have a change in the asset allocation. I believe Sarah's gonna speak on that, and then we'll have a motion. All right, Sarah.
All right, so we submitted, and I did submit for you to look at that one-page asset allocation, which should be up there. Remember, we're going to add defensive equity. Does everybody have that in front of them?
Yes.
Okay, great. So what we would like to do is transition you. We've done the education. We talked about it at the last meeting, but we did want to get that on the agenda. We have, in addition to the IPS, and to move over 5% from portfolio A to portfolio B. So we would like to add 5% allocation to defensive equity. And I think, just so, when we did the education, we talked about this. This is really what we're trying to do, is diversify the plan with lowering the volatility and we know with these markets, I mean, you just saw October was a very tough market for the equity markets. We know going forward, it's going to be harder and harder to hit that actuarial assumption. So the more diversification, the more volatility that we can take out of the portfolio, we feel that it will make it a little bit easier to keep trying to hit your actuarial rate of return.
Okay, so you need a motion?
I'll go ahead and make the motion to adjust the asset, allocation there.
Okay.
Mr. Zelenka?
Yes.
Mr. Bender, on Sarah's recommendation, yes. Mr. Arnold?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
I will not phone Sarah.
Okay.
No, and I will make one comment. I said, I think, since we changed things around and I think we, truly, trust Sarah and the group that she works for that. We've been
Sure.
getting dividends that,
Yeah.
if we would have waited like 10 weeks to make decisions and stuff, we
Yeah.
probably would have been $4 million behind in the month
Right.
sometimes instead of gaining 4 million.
Yeah.
So, I think, Sarah, you and the group have done an excellent job and, I think we're gonna continue to listen to your recommendations because it's been working.
Thank you.
Okay, so, further business, there are none,
Anything else, sir?
you're good?
You good, sir?
I'm good. I'm
Yeah.
good. I
Yeah.
just wanted to be here on the
Yeah.
call when you reviewed it, if there were questions.
No? Okay.
Okay.
All right. Everybody have a great Thanksgiving. And I'm sure I'll see some of you at the CCAP conference this weekend. So take care and everybody have a nice holiday.
Okay, thank you,
Yeah,
sir.
thanks, Sarah.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. That's all I have.
Oh, yeah. No further business, meeting adjourned. Amy,
This is capital project fund. Last one, you guys did not approve the 5.5, we dropped it down to 4.4 million. Does that change the millage to the county at all?
no, that's nothing to do with that. You
Okay.
have not changed that.
Okay, and then how much, we have to talk about the parking fund, how much is being transferred from the parking fund?
Well, it's 1.1 and the extra 2 that you see on there is the
And then, I know with the change of board, you can't actually open this again in January, correct? Yes, sir.
yeah, there's one.
Okay. I believe that is all I have, and, thank you.
Rachel,
What would you use on the parking fund? So is that, you're pulling that for the capital projects, the budget?
Yes.
Um, good.
Nothing else? Okay. Oh, yeah, no meeting next week. Enjoy your Thanksgiving turkey dinner. You got any leftovers?